Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 36 of the Unknown Comics Podcast. I'm Brandon. It's Chris and Tanner, and we're here to talk nerd crap.
We're like full term.
30. Oh, it's true.
We're
good.
We're a baby.
We're on. We're a healthy, bouncing baby podcast.
Yeah.
So
I was like 36 weeks. Why does that? Oh, that's like full time baby.
30. But Darren loves to bring up the half episode that we effed up.
Well,
because he likes to revel in our failures.
We're even closer to full term.
Yeah, you go. we were late. We just stayed a little longer. I hope everybody's having a happy day, evening, whenever you're listening to this.
Happy.
So got some news today. We got news every week. That's why we do this freaking podcast.
But it does seem like it's nice that a lot of it always drops on Thursdays. So it gets juicy like right before we go on.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just confirmation bias. We're looking for stuff to talk about in the podcast, and we're just noticing all the news that
everyone.
Came out.
It's Thursday afternoon. Everyone's scrambled to find something to talk about.
Yeah. So Marvel today had a huge update to the Marvel Unlimited app. So for those that don't know, Marvel Unlimited is their subscriber, their digital only comic subscriber based library, which is
doesn't show up there yet. Be Nasty's on here.
Oh, I haven't. It has to be in focus.
Yeah.
What a Be Nasty.
Sorry,
but anyway,
I interrupted you.
Thanks. So it's a huge library. They're constantly adding stuff to it. I mean, they're adding some of the weird, like timely comics. Like
they're going way back.
Yeah, they're adding stuff from everything. And then, of course, as far as new books go, it was for the longest time a 6-month between local, store release, public release, and their Marvel app.
Yeah.
Right, because this is different than the actual Marvel app where you buy the book to the actual unlimited date. Well, pandemic, they used that as an opportunity. The big gap of 3 months where we didn't have any books come out, they used that as an opportunity to shore that up.
Yeah.
So now it's a 3-month turnaround. Mm-hmm. Because like right now, Hellfire Gala is already starting to hit unlimited.
Okay.
And it just felt like it just came out.
Yeah.
But it's been
a few months.
It's been 3 months, right?
Yeah.
Well, now today they did a couple of things. One, they did a lot of interface stuff that just it needed. You could add stuff. You could add books to your library.
Yeah.
But like it was just you found the book, you added it to your library, and you could only download locally 6 books to your device at a time.
Yeah.
Well, starting today, it's unlimited downloads as much as you have hard drive space.
Well, that makes sense for what it is.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing: is even if you had it downloaded, you still had to have the app had to show that you were still an active subscriber, right? So if you weren't an active subscriber,
there's a key in there somewhere. It's
you couldn't open it.
And stuff like that.
So that limitation was always just kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
So they took that away. Now you can actually follow a series, and supposedly it's supposed to notify
almost
you.
Like a subscription.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's supposed to notify you like when the new books drop, which I couldn't find any notification settings, so I don't know about that just yet.
I would think it'd be like on the series itself.
Well, and weren't you saying you could do it by
look.
character also? So when a character shows up in a book that they're not normally in, you would know.
Yes. Yeah. So you can find Cyclops, and I mean it just put everything in there. They've also had reading lists, and they've done reading lists for a lot of stuff. Like, they sync a lot. They do a lot of reading lists based off of like what's happening in the MCU. Mm-hmm. So like WandaVision comes out, they'll do a reading list for a bunch of the Scarlet Witch and Vision arcs.
Here's
right?
what you need to know.
Yeah,
kind of a deal.
They'll do character close-ups and stuff like that, but then they'll do events. So like, Hellfire Gala, they created a reading list for it. And so as the books that are related to the Hellfire Gala come in, they dump it into that reading list.
That's especially cool for events. Like with King in Black, you would have a week and there'd be 4 different tie-ins come out that week.
Yeah.
But unless you go do research, you don't know which order you need to read them in.
Yeah. And they'll put it all in a reading order for you. It's really, if you are just a reader, and us being a comic store, it's hard for us to say, but
yeah, well, I mean,
it's the best value if you're a reader.
I'm not a collector myself.
Yeah.
I always tell people I'm a paper crack dealer, and I don't taste my own product. So, but I do enjoy reading the books and the stories. But a lot of time I'll read it, and I'll be like, I'm just going to put this back on the shelf.
Yeah. like I said, if you're not a collector and all you want is the story, now
There's only read once. It's fine.
what I
Not
think,
9.2 anymore.
and honestly, I don't think Marvel Unlimited damages local stores as much as it's just no different than the Marvel Comics app. It didn't damage it either. I think where it's going to hurt Marvel is trades.
Yeah.
Because that's what trades are marketed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trades aren't marketed to collectors.
You know what's funny though is you see so many people that they don't collect individual comics because they got tired of collecting the comics, so they started collecting trades.
Yeah.
So there's just as I wouldn't say just as many, but there are a lot of people that is what they also do is they just collect trade paperbacks.
I think it's just a different avenue to hit a different audience. I don't think it's going to affect any of the print, just like digital books and audiobooks haven't affected print books.
Yeah. And there's some people that, like, you won't get Darren to read a digital comic.
No.
He just does not like it.
Yeah.
He wants to pick it up and hold it with his hand and read it.
I will read it on a tablet because I can get a full page view. I do not like the panel by panel.
Yeah,
that depends on the book, I think.
I think with the Marvel Comics app and Marvel Unlimited, the newer stuff I think flows a lot better.
Yeah.
With Smart Panel, you'd go back to some of the older stuff and it
was choppy sometimes.
It would clip stuff off and it wouldn't frame right.
Yeah, you'd be like, "What? Did I miss something?"
Yeah.
You have to go full page and figure it out.
Yeah, and sometimes you'd miss stuff that
a splash page, something like that.
Sometimes it does do that for you where like you'll turn to a page and like you'll go through the Smart Panel, but before you go to the next page, it shows you the full. Mm-hmm. So you saw what it all built into. Yeah, there's pros and cons to it. It really stinks because now my old iPad, I can't update it to the new Marvel.
No, you need to be on iTunes. Blah blah blah.
It's like a third generation iPad. It shouldn't be working at all anymore. Anyway,
we have an iPad 2 running around for our conventions right now.
Oh gosh!
Hey, but it's rocking and rolling. I told Darren, I said we don't need to use that trash anymore, and then I forgot it's like the only thing that's actually still hooked up to our cell phone network. So. That's what they're using.
So another thing they announced today is they're bringing back their Infinite comics, and they did this in the Marvel Comics app.
Yeah. These are the digital only books.
Yeah, they did this probably about 6 years ago. It was probably about 2015 they were doing Infinite Comics on the Marvel Comics app.
DC announced something pretty similar recently, so I kind of figured Marvel wouldn't take too long.
And so it's different in that it is panel by panel, but like the panels kind of animate. So elements may change on the panel before it goes to the next one.
Yeah.
That is not what this is.
Okay.
So I went in and read the Ultimate X-Men, which is just a spinoff, which Hickman is co-writing. He's co-writing with somebody, and it's part of. I mean, it's a snippet story with Wolverine.
Yeah.
What's different is it's
Ultimate Universe, or is
no,
it just
it's
called Ultimate?
It's the Reign universe. It's Wolverine fighting AIM on the peak.
Yeah.
But what it is it's a continuous scroll.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. They do that a lot with the
a lot of the
manga.
Manga,
apps.
webtoons. There's different things that do.
Yeah. So that is what this is. So it's not like the Infinite comics that of 6 years ago where it's panel by panel, but they're animated panels.
Yeah.
This is like it just flows.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. It was interesting. Like there were some things that they did in the Ultimate X-Men one that were clever that you couldn't do. Like it had Wolverine like falling. Mm-hmm. And so falling down a trench. So you could tell they wrote it knowing the medium, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So as you scrolled, you just saw him kind of bouncing down this corridor. And
because I think the thing that DC signed was specifically with webtoons.
Yeah.
And their digital content medium, which is completely different than a normal comic book.
Yeah.
But they have people that are going to be writing specific stories for the DC characters that are just for that. So I'm guessing cool. Marvel's doing something as well.
Yeah. And so what's cool is like you can follow the character. You can get updates like when they're in books and stuff. You can follow a series. So when new books, but it's also telling Marvel Unlimited, hey, recommend this stuff to me.
Yeah.
And so it's pulling a bunch of stuff.
They're following you.
Yeah. I mean, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to almost make it like a social media platform.
I was going to say, are they going to have a Marvel Messenger?
Right. Well, and that's what I wonder if eventually the next layer is some kind of social media.
So you could talk to
Brandon.
I just read this.
Yeah, Brandon just finished this book.
Yeah.
And I can share, which you can share links.
Yeah.
But it'd be like me saying this book, blink,
or find a way
Messenger.
to
that reminds me of
connect it to Discord or something like that.
Yeah.
back in the 360 days, like when Netflix was still new to streaming, and you could do the watch parties. And you had your little Xbox Live avatar, like sitting in the theater.
It's a read party, so somebody's like changing. I wasn't done with that page yet.
Yeah. Like, I'm not reading as fast as you. I'm slow.
So yeah, I enjoy it. Going through it today, I realized just how far behind I am on stuff.
I need to ask Marvel if they can, all these exclusives we buy, if we can get like 10 Marvel Unlimited subscriptions included. I'm going to send you an email, David.
There you go. It's just product research.
Yeah.
We can sell your product better if we can read it and not have to just like, they'll be just like, just take one off the shelf and put it back.
Well, we don't do all of the Marvel books.
That's true. So. Yeah. So anyway, big stuff in Marvel Unlimited, available on mobile devices. They do not have the actual desktop version anymore. You could do it on desktop for a while, but it was super buggy, and I think they were just like, nah, we're just going to leave it on tablets and mobile devices.
And before we get into the next thing, I was challenged today by a local who likes to listen to our podcast, who said one of his favorite things for us to talk about are debating costumes.
Debating costumes.
Okay. And he said we need to do more of this.
Okay.
And
make it like a segment.
And he one of the ones he brought up, like, he said he hates Superman's costume first of all.
Agreed.
And he's a DC fan, but he said like what's the best Batman costume? Just kind of going over like the different eras of, some of these iconic characters.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it's Azrael's costume when he was Batman. Nightfall. Suck it.
So Batman, I would say, is it's one you can't really debate which one's the best, because he's one of those characters that will create a costume specifically to do something.
Well, I mean, overall, you think different time periods there have been an overall costume that he wore, whether it be, kind of like Batfleck's, version in the movies where he has the shorter,
the
you know what I mean, all that kind of stuff. So there are
kind of more like Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns.
You're Frank Miller. So there are different times and eras where Batman has had different things. And
so what I'm going to think of is I'm thinking to Arkham City and what special unlock costume I would keep going back and playing with, and I think it animated series.
Yeah,
I just love that look.
And he couldn't.
Animated series is still my favorite Batman.
He couldn't quite tell me why he hated Superman's costume so much, but he just said
it's underwear on the outside.
That's what I said. But I was like, well, then Batman has it too.
Everybody does it. Cyclops did it. Everybody did it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if
everybody underwears on the outside.
So it's just something we can kind of maybe keep thinking of different little iconic things.
He agrees with Edna Mode. No capes. Darling. Yeah, that's what we could do. We could call it like Edna Mode's costume debate corner. We'll just get a little picture of her.
So
no capes.
And it doesn't have to be just costumes, but just little things like talking about the differences between Marvel and DC characters that share the same similarities.
Like Black Cat and Catwoman.
Yeah, things like that. So
yeah,
challenge accepted.
We can make a segment around that.
Kevin, that's who it was.
Okay.
I won't say his last name, but Kevin, I'm calling you out.
All right.
He'd also be somebody cool, I think, to actually have on the show. He's got a lot of knowledge.
Let's do it. We still need to get Mike on the show. He's in our podcast chat group, and we've never had him on. He's getting ready to get booted.
Yeah, he doesn't join the show anymore either. So I think he probably says,
I don't need to now.
He gets all the info, and and so he's like, I don't need to be on.
Yep. He's going to have to get booted.
All that behind the scenes extra footage.
Yeah. That or we just we stop posting to it. We just leave it, and then we just create another one. Secret podcast. But
every now and then,
according to, here's the tip off's going to be, I'm going to have to leave the group because I don't stay in groups. I don't stay in groups.
No, this is where we get real deep into the scheme.
Fire Brandon?
You just make an entirely new Facebook. So that way you don't have to leave the chat.
And you don't get notifications. You just sign out of it.
Oh, like a new account?
How deep into this are you willing to go?
All right. So, video game news today, or so we'll say comic adjacent, nerd adjacent video game news, because there's always video games coming.
Yeah.
PlayStation news, specifically. Almost everything that was announced today was PlayStation, right?
Well, I think Knights of the Old Republic is going to be multi-platform.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be PS5 and PC.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. It was almost all PlayStation, I thought, today.
Well, PC is a
Well,
platform.
yeah, I hear that, but I mean, everything I saw was
It is the best platform.
Sony was showing this and this.
Just because they had the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man's the only true exclusive that they announced because Sony's got that locked up.
yeah,
Like
that licenses are like no, we're never.
holy moly. Well, so much so it's still pissing people off that are playing Marvel Avengers because
Spider-Man's not in there.
Spider-Man's still not in the other platforms. Yeah. Because Sony has it locked up tight. So, I never,
You beat me to it.
Dang it!
I never played Spider-Man on PlayStation because I don't have one. So,
I have not played Spider-Man, but I've played Miles Morales.
They're both great.
yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the old Tobey Maguire
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 video game where
Yes.
you just kind of roam around New York and do missions.
Jump
as
off
you
the
feel
Chrysler
like.
building.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun. The graphics are great. I think the story's actually pretty good.
Ollie likes to play it. I'll just hand him the controller, let him run
just,
around.
just swing and play for yeah. So I think overall it's a really good game. I'm excited about it.
Be nasty is saying that KOTOR's a timed exclusive, meaning PlayStation gets it first,
Okay.
Yeah,
then everybody else gets it, which is now common too. But
yeah.
yeah, Sony's gonna have to stop doing that. Or they're gonna,
I do think I want to see some more of the different Spider-Mans in the game.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Mans.
Well, it's cool that we
No,
still
it
have
would be
both of them in there, right? You get Miles and you get Peter. There's not one or, so you still are getting the option of both.
It'd be cool to see Ben.
Yeah, I think and you get his costume and stuff like that right now, but you don't actually get the character itself. So
Yeah.
that would be cool. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, if they did some kind of clone thing in there. I mean, we saw through the trailer we're getting Venom.
Yeah.
So where is that going to lead? Are they going to just kind of keep maybe just one or two characters at a time introductories into this, or are they going to expand and like let the story actually bring more people into it?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of what are you limited to in the video
Right.
game? It's kind of overall, I think, because if you're playing an entire game as somebody, I mean, it's kind of hard to go back and forth, and you know what I mean. There are times
I will say Arkham City did it pretty well because you bounce between Batman and Catwoman.
yeah, and you do that in the first one. Like you'll be Peter for a little bit, and then you could be MJ for a couple of things, or you might be Miles for a second.
Yeah.
There was that Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, Shattered Time, something
Oh,
like
they
that.
had like Noir. And everything,
Yeah, you played between Pete, Noir, 2099, and I forget what the fourth Spider-Man was. But there were four of them, and you bounced back between them. You basically were trying to accomplish things in all the different timelines.
It was Spider-Ham.
It was not Spider-Ham.
I was like, it wasn't him, but I think it'd be funny if it was.
That'd be awesome. Everything just goes cell shaded.
Oh, it was Symbiote Suit is what it was.
No,
Oh,
so still Peter.
it's still Peter, but
Yeah.
I think it's the game we were playing for a while, the little Marvel
Strike Force.
Strike Force. They didn't duplicate any characters except for they brought in Black Suit Spider-Man. But now you can change costumes,
Oh yeah.
so it's like
Heck yeah, that's how
so
you.
you can change costumes. But before all that, you had two Peter Parkers.
You do costumes. You can microtransaction those costumes real
Yeah,
good.
but-
Like
One of those Peter Parker emo dances.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious. if
his
that
hair
was-
like
It's like a special move you can do.
yeah.
that would be kind of funny. It's like
Yeah. So Knights of the Old Republic, they only did a teaser trailer today, so they're not showing off anything like
Yeah.
crazy. But
the little bit you see. I mean, if
yeah.
it's going to look like that, I mean,
yeah, it's a remake. The company Aspire, the company that's done it. I agree with you on the chat. Like they had to put remake on the title. Like
yeah, that seemed weird, right?
I guess they're doing it to eliminate confusion that it's not a new game. It is. It
I
is
feel
a
like they could
redo.
have said something else, though, like
Remastered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, something that sounds
That would've made
better
more
than
sense.
I think
remake.
remastered marketing wise is probably a better name, but I guess they
They wanted it to be so crystal clear that
unless
they,
unless to them remastered means something different.
yeah, maybe
See,
audio.
to me, remake makes it sound like they're going to go in and change things.
They may change
Where-
actual functions of the game, which that would make sense.
Whereas remastered is basically a carbon copy of the original, just
high def
higher
graphics, better
definition,
audio,
yeah.
stuff like that.
So if it is a remake and they actually go through it, maybe they make it more open world. Maybe they, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I think making it too open world it makes it Old Republic at that point. The MMO game. So we'll time will tell. We'll just have to see. Did they give a date?
I didn't see a date on that one. I know Spider-Man 2 is
2023.
And then Wolverine, which is also one that's being created by the same people that have made the Spider-Man games, is no date released yet either. Just kind of like, it's coming.
Yeah, so that means Wolverine will be an
probably
exclusive,
25
Sony exclusive in Marvel Avengers.
It was a really short teaser too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are probably going to stay exclusives because Insomniac is a Sony-owned development house.
And that may be, who knows, that may be some of that little, behind the scenes deals we didn't see when Marvel's like, let us keep making Spider-Man movies and we'll let you guys make some money on video games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you would think then they would have let Sony have the Avengers license too, But they made that game separately.
That may have already been something that was penciled in
Possibly.
before they got there, so.
That's true too. So
Because it takes a long time for something.
which is great for a PC gamer. So
You love it.
I will say PC is more likely to get a Sony exclusive later than an Xbox is.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Which has happened. I think it happened with like Horizon Zero Dawn is now on PC, where it's probably never going to touch Xbox, but Xbox has Game Pass.
And there's still like some games like they'll kind of go back and forth on exclusivity as far as when they get things, right? Like didn't Destiny
So Destiny started PlayStation,
but then it's kind of gone back
Yeah.
and they'll kind of say like you can get a new map here for 6 months and then you can get it here.
yeah, I
after
think that kind of stopped after Bungie left Activision.
Yeah.
So Bungie spun off to be their own company. I think a lot of those PlayStation early access stuff with Destiny went away.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I started playing again all of a sudden
Yeah.
because they had their big announcement last week, and I'm like, crap.
From what I understand, Destiny has some of the coolest little add-ons you can get to like Twitch and stuff like that if you're
Oh
streaming.
yeah, you can show you
all kinds of cool
what your
stuff.
current loadout and everything is. Yeah, no, Destiny's fun. It just, if I'm not careful, I just like all of a sudden I'll just time warp like 6 hours. Like crap, all I did was like one strike. I'm slow at this game.
So EA has exclusivity still
On Star
till
Wars, yeah.
2023. Yeah, I wouldn't think we're going to see it till later
Yeah.
anyway, because, I mean,
Well, and here's the thing: is KOTOR was EA, so ish.
you're still not
KOTOR
gonna
was
see
BioWare.
a PlayStation in stores until like 2025 anyway, so.
You're still talking about something else. I'm moving on.
I know, I'm just saying. Licenses won't matter because you won't be able to buy one.
That's true. Because KOTOR was made by BioWare, who eventually got bought by EA after KOTOR at some point, I think. And then they've since made Old Republic and everything like that. So, yeah, that is.
I will
I'm wondering if KOTOR if EA is still tagged onto the remake somehow. So, because that's technically their property.
like a partner or something.
Yeah, that they're and they let this company Aspire. They're known for just porting games from one platform to another. That's like they don't make their own games; they just take games and so like they took Star Wars Republic Commando and put it on the Switch.
Yeah.
That's their bread and butter is just porting games from one console to another. So it could be that Aspire is just making it, but it's still technically EA's game by right.
Yeah.
As the publisher. So we'll see.
Not to take resources away from EA just to recode it to work on a different console.
Yeah, exactly. They do that all the time. Like Dark Souls and stuff like that. From Software did that with a couple of different
I
companies.
do think it's cool, though, that we're seeing, because it's been a while since you've seen anything from the Old Republic get messed with, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So I think it's cool to say maybe, it's one step closer to Disney and Lucas saying, yes, it's coming.
And we talked about this. It's hard to say if it's going to be canon because technically it was still written before all that.
Before the Disney.
But the Old Republic, the MMO, is still being added onto. They're still doing expansions and stuff for it. But that one, I guess, because it was started before all that, is not canon.
Yeah.
Even though it's still coming out. But like games like Jedi Fallen Order are. And
Yes.
Squadrons, because those happened after
Yeah.
the development started. So
Which Fallen Order was too short of a game, but good game.
I didn't play it actually.
Making a sequel to it, I believe.
I played Squadrons. That was a short game, but it was super fun. I just like piloting TIE fighters and shooting rebels out of the sky.
Yeah.
Out of space, not really sky. But yeah, Respawn, the people that make Apex and Titanfall, they have their big Star Wars game is coming, and I think it's more like kind of what you're wanting, that kind of that Skyrim style. So Respawn's working on that, but yeah, that'll be after the EA.
I
exclusivity.
liked the story of Knights of the Old Republic, but I hated the gameplay. It's just slow.
Spider-Man's based on the Skyrim style as well, right?
I mean, it depends.
Similar to a point.
Yeah, it's third person though. It's not first person like Skyrim would be.
I prefer the third person,
Especially if you have motion sickness.
Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah, first person will get you.
Actually, play it.
Spider-Man's a little bit more on rails than Skyrim,
No,
just because you go on a side quest in Skyrim and it could take you.
Yeah.
It could rabbit trail down more side quests, whereas you do a side quest in Spider-Man, and that's it.
I think it's closer to The Witcher, is what I was thinking.
I've never played The Witcher.
The engine for The Witcher, I think, was similarly used or something like that for the Spider-Man games.
That'd be a completely different development house because CD Projekt.
I think I remember seeing something or reading something about it, but there was something in there.
I know as buggy as CD Projekt Red stuff when it comes out. I doubt Sony would have bought into that.
Yeah. So, but there are a lot of similarities to playing both of them that I do recognize.
Yeah, I'm sure they take they all borrow from each other.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of the game engines, I was watching back to Star Wars. I was watching the whole behind the scenes stuff of Mandalorian again last night because I thought I'd finished all of it and I totally hadn't. And it was just kind of cool to see that they're actually using game engines to film that.
Oh, like the Unreal Engine and stuff?
Yeah, they actually use a game engine for when they're filming, so it's behind everything. I'm just hitting everything right now in the studio.
Yes, you are.
But it's just cool to see that's how, all the lighting and everything is it's all real because it's all happening in real time.
Yeah.
Through these LED screens and everything stuff like that in the background. So
yeah, your hands going in front of the camera.
You're welcome. It's so close to me.
Gosh. Stop. I don't know let you see the screen anymore. So yeah, video games.
I'm excited about them.
Yeah.
I don't do as many video games as Brandon does. My brain is dead right now.
So, all right. So now is the point of the show where we're going to get into spoiler territory with some content. So if you are not caught up on Marvel's What If or anything on Warhammer Plus, you're going to want to tune out now. But for those that are caught up, hello. We're going to be talking about What If and Warhammer Plus content.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Warhammer Plus first. So we're getting more content drip than we thought we were going to get.
New episode of Angels of Death, and we got the first episode of Lore Masters, which covers Abaddon the Black.
So Lore Masters is kind of like an amateur lore video, just more highly produced.
It's like a little docu-series based on one character at a time. Is what it looks like.
I don't know if it's going to always be a character or if it's maybe they'll cover an event or something, but this episode was on Abaddon.
Yeah.
Right.
And even though it was on Abaddon, you got a lot about Horus as well, just because their history is so tied together. It was good.
It was good. It was. I mean, of course.
Is it a British narrator?
It is, and that the whole time I'm sitting here thinking to myself, Tanner is probably watching this and going, "He's got British teeth," because he had British teeth.
He did,
and you're this close to his face the whole time, so there's no way you're not seeing it.
He was on camera for part of the time. He would talk for a little bit, and then he'd go to art and stuff and animations.
So who is the guy?
Just a Games Workshop employee.
GW guy.
Okay.
I mean, he did a good job narrating and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was good.
Okay, so it's not just some nameless voice.
No,
going over art and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's an employee.
I mean, he's not Morgan Freeman, but
right.
He did a pretty good job with it.
So I wonder if it's what's his bucket that actually wrote the first couple of Horse Heresy.
It was not an author.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think it was an author.
That's who they need to get. If they're going to do a documentary style on a character,
that would be really cool.
Just grab the actual authors that are really writing them.
I would watch the hell out of
that. Which I would say Abaddon was probably not created by whoever wrote the Horse Heresy. He had been a character already in 40K. They just went back and kind of tagged him
Fleshed him out.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was I think just over 17 minutes, the first episode was. So I mean, you get a pretty good in-depth talk about who Abaddon is, and I mean they could probably do even more, but they went around from before the Horus Heresy, who he was, all the way up to through his different raids and stuff that he did. So
which I like lore videos anyway, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see an official one.
Right.
Because this is coming from Games Workshop. I know there's no mistakes, in theory.
In theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a good character to start with because he is one of those characters that's probably got one of the longest histories
Well, there's plenty of history there
next
for
to
them.
like Gilliman.
Yeah.
There's plenty of history for there to cover, but also he's pivotal to the current plot of 9th edition.
Yeah.
So-
and I think it's a good place to start because his history goes from before the heresy to the heresy all the way to why basically everything is the way it is with chaos and the warp, and he's a big issue and reason for a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, now if they go and talk about somebody else, you've already kind of got that background laid down for that. And I'm sure they're probably going to do lore over Sigmar. And, if they really are going to bring back Old World, they may even bring some stuff back to that eventually, too.
Yeah.
So,
There'd be a ton of stuff they could do for Old World.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Angels of Death. So I've watched the first 1.5 episodes. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is.
I think it's hilarious, though, that, for storytelling purposes, like, are Space Marines really allowed to have such customized helmets and armor? Like, every Space Marine, like, had a different helmet. So you could actually tell
They'll
which
have their
one.
names on their plates and stuff, too.
Yeah.
On the sides.
Honestly, I think it would just depend on the chapter.
And I think I would say yeah, because that's how you have your personality.
Well, Blood Angels are not a Codex compliant chapter anyway.
That's true. Yeah, they're not Ultramarines. So
Ultramarines, I don't know how much they get away with.
they're nerds.
Imperial Fist for sure. I don't know how much they would get away with.
Yeah.
Ultramarines would be like the Patriots way. Almost missed
Bert.
it. Well, we're glad you're here.
So we're in spoiler territory. So if you haven't watched What If or don't plan to, then fair warning. So yeah, Warhammer Plus. They've been doing content.
It's been good.
I think props for that.
I think it's worth the money.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that we didn't get another episode. I thought they were going to swap them.
I did too. I don't know.
Well, but they front loaded Hammer. Excuse me. They front loaded Hammer and Bolter a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Now we're caught up on both.
yeah.
I do wish they'd give us a release schedule.
Or something.
All we know is that something comes out on Wednesday.
Yeah. It would be nice to, I guess you, like I said, have expectations of kind of what's coming or whatever.
Because how many other shows had they announced?
It was like 16
There's quite
shows.
a few.
Yeah.
But they had trailers for each of them, but they were just narration trailers.
Right.
They didn't even put anything
It's
on
like a
screen. It's black.
synopsis.
So they're probably still in production.
Yeah, I would say so.
But yeah, it'd be nice to see like just a release schedule of okay, I know Hammer Bolter's coming out this week. I know Angels of Death is coming out this week.
Yeah.
As opposed to just I know something is coming out on Wednesday.
And it'd be funny if like next week they're like, yeah, we're not releasing any of those. We have a whole new show. And we're going to get to 3 episodes on that before we do anything else.
I would be pretty annoyed if they did that.
Yeah. But I mean, where they're at with Angels and Death, I mean, it's gotten to a really good point. This last episode was a little bit more kind of filling out the storyline, getting them to a certain place. But I thought it was good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
So technically, Burke, we made affiliate a long time ago. It just took somebody forever to actually put our account information in there.
Well, it's still technically, I had to still kind of finagle it because I guess it all depends on where your tax returns have gone. And so since we haven't had a tax return at this new address, it's like this doesn't match this address.
Oh,
so I kind of
gosh.
had to go in there and be like, okay, well, we'll just figure
It's
it
like
out.
when we tried to become a WPN store.
Yeah.
Oh, my golly.
Yeah,
that was painful.
Yeah.
But we got it done. So, yeah, it was Chris's fault. So, yeah, Warhammer Plus, doing good. I'm trying to segue here to What If.
Well, you just did.
What if there were
Yeah.
What if
I wish
Angels
I
of
could've
Death
done
in the Marvel
called
universe?
What if?
I wish I could have done it smoother. That's all I got. That's all I'm saying. We got the zombie episode, which we knew was coming. It was probably one of the most. I think that was the first screenshot you ever saw was Zombie Captain America when
Yeah.
they were talking about What If. It didn't really follow Marvel Zombies a whole lot.
No, and I think it can't.
Yeah,
I think it had to go its own thing.
yeah. And we've decided that
Hank Pym's the bad guy.
Hank Pym
Yeah.
screws up alternate realities.
He's the bad guy.
a lot.
That's all we need to know. He is a very selfish.
I guess really the way they frame it, it's more Hope's fault.
Well, I mean,
Even
she
though
was
he-
there.
yeah.
He's the one who went after her.
Yeah,
So
she just had survivor's guilt is what that was.
yeah. But it was good. They definitely teed up it's not over.
Yeah, I think we'll see, like, for sure, Captain Carter in this episode. I think we're going to see continuation in season 2.
Do you think we see continuation with the Doctor Strange arc?
No, that one.
I think that one's over.
and I felt like because that one was such a finality, right? When it got to the end of this episode, I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Like I was like expecting resolve because there was so much resolve in the previous one. So I did think that was interesting. So
Yeah.
but
Futurama Paul Rudd was the best, though.
I didn't even think about that. That's awesome.
And when the cape grabbed his little head jar.
His head jokes and all that stuff were really funny.
Gosh. Which pretty much most of the cast, no Tom Holland. And
Which was kind of surprising.
I almost wonder, I don't know, I almost wonder if it has to deal with the whole Sony thing.
It might.
If that's why they couldn't.
No.
But there's no telling. It could have just been as simple as a scheduling issue. They couldn't actually get him into...
Yeah, he was too busy being Drake or whatever.
Yeah, to ADR or whatever. And then there was one other. I'm trying to remember. It was a smaller character that wasn't...
Ant-Man.
He didn't actually talk.
He's small.
So he didn't even... They didn't even credit Hank Pym.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't credit him as anybody.
Because he's growled.
Yeah. So...
It was cool to see the Baba Yaga guy in there. Although
Yeah.
I think I would have appreciated
Yeah.
Lewis a little bit more, but I think it was still good.
Yeah.
Oh, he could have, like, recapped
Yeah, it would've been so great.
Bruce everything that had happened.
It'd almost be good if he was the Watcher.
Oh,
He's
gosh.
recapping everything. So he's the Watcher.
That would be fantastic. But John Favreau was in there as Happy.
Yep.
Blam. Blam, blam, blam.
That was funny.
Are you saying blam?
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. When he goes, she makes him blam his own face.
But yeah, no, it was fun. It's just cliffhanger.
That scene when they open the shower curtain and Bucky's in there showering. Man was like, ooh. It's a cartoon.
It brought out the reality.
It's like, okay, we're never watching him again
Whatever.
in the house. You're grounded.
Speaking of that, I do feel like I need to start pre-screening everything Marvel Disney Plus before letting the kids watch it. Because this is the second thing where I'm like, okay, y'all need to close your eyes.
I did see something about the fact that after Bucky has to kill Captain America, he goes up to him, takes the shield, and says, "I guess that's the end of the line."
Yeah.
Just kind of how that goes back to their whole story arc. I was like, that's kind of a
And it was on a train.
yeah.
Yep. It was fun. They were really like
They killed some people real quick.
the survivors are like super callous about stuff like when Hope kills Sharon Carter, she's like, "Oh, I've just got Sharon on me." It's like, "Oh, I just murdered like somebody I've been in the trenches with for past." And I was like, "Okay."
I did think, like,
not quite Walking Dead levels of drama, but
like everyone was so chill when they got into the base. I'm like, you do realize you just like Hope just died, so you're gonna have to deal with a giant zombie here in a minute.
Yeah, as soon as she bit it, I was like, did you not think to kill her?
yeah. I still wonder, like, how did Doctor Strange still have power? You kind of wonder how some of them
how they
still
have their
have
abilities.
Yeah.
How does
How
Iron
was
Man
Tony
zombie
smart
know?
enough to use the suit?
Yeah.
like they're just viruses, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
So-
it was.
It's a
some of that
quantum
stuff was
virus,
interesting.
okay?
Yeah, it still knows what's happening. It's because it's quantumized.
Or they still keep parts of their consciousness or something like that. That's about the only thing. And Scarlet Witch for the main part.
Yeah.
Like she's still like uber powerful and a zombie.
Yeah.
So the whole Vision Scarlet Witch arc. A lot of people are complaining about it. Like they didn't like how they characterized them or whatever. Like I don't.
It still made sense to what just happened in WandaVision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would do whatever's necessary to keep the other one around.
She did the same thing for him, so he's doing the same thing for her now.
Yeah, basically.
So I don't quite get where the rub is on that one, but maybe somebody in the comments can tell us why. So, all right. I think that's about it for what we have. Anything else, guys, that you want to mention or talk about? So for those watching live, tomorrow afternoon we are doing our Magic set breaks. So if you haven't already gone to our website, you can buy slots into those breaks. And in the collection, we have a link to the video as to what a break is. So I won't explain it here for those that don't care about Magic cards. And yeah, so we've got lots of great content on YouTube. And you just released a MegaCon video, the cosplay video.
Yep.
Is that it for the MegaCon?
That's it for MegaCon content. Next week, I'm going to be doing a video about a series from Vault called Barbaric, which I think is fantastic.
Yep.
And then I've been slowly going through my collection to pull out. I'm planning stuff for October since it's spooky season.
Yep. And we're throwing around some ideas on some more kind of daily content we can throw up here on Twitch as well. So Tanner and I were talking about that earlier, and something we'll kind of keep discussing. So be staying tuned for what more things we're going to do.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.